Hi, Junior Rangers. This is Miss Jen. I'm in charge of nature programs for the park system. If you are new to the Junior Ranger program, well then welcome. I hope to meet you sometime soon. If you are returning for another summer, then welcome back. I also hope to see you sometime soon. This week's topic is all about beneficial insects. These insects are super important, and it's really good to know how to recognize them. We are going to start off with pollinators. These insects visit flowers for nectar. When they land on a flower, they pick up pollen on their body. If they land on another flower that's the same kind, they will transfer pollen to that plant. This is what we call pollination, and it is how most plants reproduce and form seeds. If we didn't have pollinators, we wouldn't have 1/3 of our food and 85% of wild plants. And these are some examples you can see on this slide of different kinds of pollinators we have in our parks. On this slide, we see examples of bees and wasps. So bees are generally wider and fuzzier, whereas the wasps have a sort of pinched in waist between the thorax and the abdomen. And they have, in general, less fuzz on their bodies. So if we compare these to that of the honeybee, which you see here, honeybee is good to be able to recognize as well as the bumblebee from some of these other wasps, particularly the yellow jacket, because the yellow jacket is definitely one of the most aggressive and will sting over and over, whereas a honeybee can only sting once and it dies. It's definitely a last-ditch effort to save the colony from disturbance. So basically, if you leave these bees alone, they'll leave you alone. These insects are called bald-faced hornets. They're a type of wasp, and they're actually both predators and pollinators. You can recognize them. They don't have any yellow stripes on them, so they don't look like a lot of our other wasps. And they make these very strange gray pointed paper looking nests, and they are very common in our parks. Now as adults, they go out and they hunt flies and yellow jackets and feed them to their young. So they're good predators to have around. And the adults will drink flower nectar, and when they do that, they can act as pollinators. If these hornets are on the side of a house, it can be obviously very dangerous because they will sting if they feel threatened. But if you leave them alone, they will leave you alone. If these are in the parks in a natural area, it's best to just stay away from them and they won't hurt you. But if they're on the side of a house or something, then you'd have to have some kind of professional remove them because they can be dangerous. But otherwise, they're really important, both predators and pollinators. Moving on to our next group, the recyclers. These include dung beetles, burying beetles, sow bugs, which are actually not insects, they're crustaceans, springtails, and ants. Ants are very important recyclers of nutrients, and in the process, they make very vast underground tunnels and aerate the soil. The ants will then move organic matter from above ground to below ground, where they shred it for further processing by bacteria and fungi. Therefore, it can be recycled and turned into very, very rich soil. They're also very important dispersers of seeds. In fact, more than 3,000 species of plants and 70 families use ants to transport their seeds, and that includes many of our spring wildflowers. Insects go through metamorphosis as they grow, and the vast majority of insects look very different in the larva and pupa stage as compared to the adult stage of their life cycle. So first we're going to start with a look at the ladybugs and their life cycle. As you can see, the ladybug larvae are long and segmented and definitely do not resemble the familiar adult ladybug at all. But these larvae eat just as many, if not more, pests like aphids and mites as their adult counterparts. Because they may look intimidating, people are likely to squish them, and we definitely don't want that. You can also see the pupa, or resting stage, pictured here on the bottom, and then finally the adult. Certain kinds of ground beetles are general predators of insects. The one you see in the top left feeds primarily on caterpillars that attack trees and shrubs, and they're usually found in the leaf litter. Here we can see examples of tiger beetles. You can see the overall shape of a tiger beetle. There's so many different species that are found in Burlington County. While they can fly, they stay close to the ground. These ground beetles, again, feed on many different kinds of insects in general, but close to the ground. And then we have the soldier beetles, which are very important predators of aphids and mealybugs and other kinds of pests. Interestingly enough, the soldier beetles are doubly beneficial. In their larval stage, they eat many different soft-bodied insects underground that can be pests. And then in the adult stage, they also visit flowers for nectar and can act as pollinators. They're most attracted to white flowers, especially in the early fall. Praying mantis species of all kinds are general predators of insects and spiders. We have one native species and two non-native species of praying mantis in New Jersey. All of them are predatory. These are my favorite beneficial insects. These are the dragonflies and their skinnier cousins, the damselflies. And these insects eat huge numbers of insect pests like mosquitoes and biting flies in all parts of their life cycle. So when they're the adults that we see on land, they're eating the flies and the mosquitoes. And when they're those weird looking nymphs that you see on the bottom left, they're under the water and they're eating the mosquito larvae and the fly larvae underwater. So they're really, really awesome predators of insects we don't like. The insects seen here are all examples of different species of assassin bugs. These are ambush predators that lie in wait and then pounce on their prey. And then they stab them with their sharp mouth part and then suck out the insides of the insect like a straw. They do not harm people or pets. They prey on insects. Another kind of ambush predator are the robber flies. Robber flies have a long, extended, pointed abdomen, very different from other flies. They will either lie in wait or pursue their prey in flight. They especially like to eat biting flies. Like the assassin bugs, they do still stab their prey with their mouth part and then suck the insides out. They do not harm people or pets. Yes, it's true. Some bugs definitely can bug us, but most of them are good. And we definitely need them for things like pollination and recycling of nutrients and waste. They take care of pests, they feed other animals, and they improve the soil and help spread seeds. So I hope you learned something new, and I wish you luck looking for cool beneficial insects out in the parks. You can use page 10 of your packet to help you fill in the squares on the different kinds of beneficial insects you find, and feel free to share pictures with me and Miss Kate so we can see what you found. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.